Hey guys, welcome back to the Aquarium Library with Andrew. Today, I wanted to show you guys another updated version of the automatic egg collector. I've tinkered with it a bit some more, watched other people's videos, took other people's suggestions, and I've tried a couple of different things or new things that I have found have been working well for me and have helped with my egg production. And I guess I'll also walk you guys through how my current setup is for taking eggs out of here, putting them into there, and then putting them into their first grow out tank. And then I have a couple other tanks that are ready for them to grow out, and then even more tanks once I start getting more CPDs to grow out. So first thing is that I like keeping a bare bottom tank in here, like I think most people are apt to do. I don't like gravel or anything else because it just tracks mold and detritus. And in this setup, when you're collecting eggs, you're gonna have a bunch of mold that starts developing up here. You can see some of the eggs that I collected today. I think I have 22 today in there. And so the rocks and the gravel keep more of the mold in there, whereas when I'm water changing, I can take out all the debris that's in here and in here. Usually what I do is I actually empty this out of eggs and I do a water change in here, because then I'm getting rid of all of the fine settleable solids that are gonna settle out in this chamber and make it dirty out of the tank. And then I just refill this back up with fresh water, and I just do mini water changes that way. I've also used artificial mops rather than plants, because I don't like the hassle of having to deal with live plants and having to deal with the decaying matter, dead plants, getting into the breeder box and clogging everything. So I like artificial spawning mops. So there's just 2 of those there that they spawn in and lay their eggs in. I also, you can sort of see in the bottom here, I added 2 little slopes here that slope down into a point here, and this point is directly above the inflow for the breeder box up here. So when it creates that siphon or that vacuum on there as the air is bubbling up, anything that comes down into here is immediately going to get sucked into that hole and taken up. And so you can see the sides of this are fairly darn clean in comparison to what I've seen other people's and mine in the past have gotten. And I also attribute that to this tricky base that I have here. I use this as a way to swirl inside of the actual breeder basket and to push water down, pumping it down into there to blow everything out. And I do that once a day when I'm coming down here to check for eggs, and it takes about 30 seconds to do, blow them out, and then your eggs, if you have any left over in the moss or the yarn, whatever you're using, will end up here. And then from here, I'll go ahead and I will take my pipette, which is this one here, and I'll take all of the eggs that you can see, if it'll focus, that pile of eggs there. I've rounded them up to make it easier for transporting them, but I'll go around and blow all the sides down with this and blow all the eggs out into the middle and then collect them. I don't bother with anything up top in terms of a guard or anything else, because the eggs will sink down to the bottom and will not come out of the tank. And then from there, once I take the eggs out of here, this is all clean water that is just straight well water. That's what I'm on out here. Then I let it sit in here and bring it up to temperature. This tank is running about like 71-ish, 72-ish. So I'm using this as my methylene blue tank to hatch eggs off, because I was getting a lot of fungus on them and wasn't able to hatch a lot off. So I opted to go with methylene blue, and this is one of the Lee's breeder boxes, and I use a methylene blue and I do 2 drops into this container that's just about all the way full. You can see it's just barely not going in. It's probably a smidge too full, but that allows the eggs to hatch off in there without any fungus developing on them. And then you'll have your infertile eggs that will just lay in there, and then you'll have your fry that'll hatch off, and they will be just lying on the bottom. I haven't had problems with the fry dying with only 2 drops of methylene blue in there, but as soon as I see fry in there, I take those and I move them into here. And you can see along the bottom, there are a couple of fry. There's one in focus there, and there's actually 2 more here. If my camera will let me focus, you'll take my word for it that they're right there. Oh, there we go. There's 2 of them. And so once they hatch out, they come over to this tank. And right now, this is about 2.5 weeks worth of fry. And so you can see bigger fry swimming in there, and this will probably be the point where I will cut off adding more fry into this tank, because I'm afraid that those bigger ones will start eating the smaller ones, because they do, the fry do predate on each other, as I've seen in the past. You can see there's more of them swimming in there. I think there's probably about 45 in here right now. And once this tank is full, like I said, I have 2 other tanks that I'm gonna go ahead and start adding all those fry into, put a sponge filter and heater in. And this box here, I think, is what I'll use for water changes. I actually haven't done any water changes on these guys quite yet, because of how small the fish are. I've done a couple, a little bit here and there, but nothing extremely large. And I actually don't feed anything special at all with these guys. I just feed them my normal crushed up fry food, which is in this jar here. Let me get this open with one hand if I can. And so I actually don't feed them the fry food itself. I will go ahead and take a pinch of it, and I will go ahead and add it into my other tanks. And I'll make sure that I rub it all up along my fingers, grinding it up like this. And that way I get a really, really, really fine powder that after I'm done feeding the shell dwellers down here, and then the apparents in here, and my pleco tank in here, I'll take all that powder that's on my fingers and I'll waft it into the water, and you'll see just a, I guess a curtain of fine dust food that they'll come ahead and eat. And these guys haven't been fed any live baby brine shrimp. I literally don't have my brine shrimp hatchery set up. It's actually down there in the bottom of that bin there. It's not running. You don't hear a gurgling sound of it running if you did. And so that's how I'm raising up fry. And then once they get to this point, for me in my past experience, it's fairly straightforward. You just keep feeding them, keep doing water changes. I'll probably start gravel vacuuming here soon once those smaller guys are hatched off, and then that'll be it. And then you can do with what you want with those fry. I'm looking forward to getting some in here to start a second breeding tank, and then a separate individual colony, because I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket, and then start selling these guys to my local store or to local clubs and whatnot. I guess the only other thing to talk about would be the temperature that they're at right now. So these guys are at 74-ish. These guys are also about 72, 74-ish, and that hatching tank is about 70-ish degrees. I really do like this improvement. The only thing that I would do is maybe punch a couple of holes in that slope there that fills out that bottom, and that little chute that goes right down basically to it and collects almost everything that comes out of that breeder box. And I have seen Lowell's, his rendition of the breeder box, and I really do like it, but this is a lot cheaper, and I like being able to collect eggs continuously, because I'll just go ahead and put them all together in one tank and then just start new tanks of new fry. Since I don't have a lot of breeders, I only have like 6, I'd rather just keep on collecting eggs off of them and have batches of tanks like this than going 2 or 3 weeks without getting them. Because, you know, today was a decent day, 20 eggs. Some days it's only 2 or 3, but over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, that can be 60 to 100 eggs that I can get in 2 or 3 weeks, and can just keep on going, and they don't mind it at all. So if you guys have any questions or want to know any more about this, I really do like this for breeding Celestial Pearl Danios, and if you have any other non-adhesive egg scatterers, I think this would also be a great setup. So I think it's I like it a lot. I'm biased. It's sort of my little baby that I put together. But if you have any questions, just let me know, or if any other comments or concerns, I'd love to hear in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a blessed day. See ya.